Why the universe stops certain loves. Carl Gustav Jung, a name synonymous with the uncharted territories of the human mind, stands apart from many of his contemporaries in the field of psychology. While others focus primarily on observable behaviors and the mechanics of rational thought, Jung delved into the deeper currents of the psyche, viewing it not as a mere collection of learned responses, but as a dynamic, living entity inextricably linked to the spiritual dimension of human existence. Far from dismissing spirituality as a primitive superstition or a fleeting illusion, Jung saw it as a fundamental expression of the human experience, deeply interwoven into the very fabric of the unconscious. For Jung, life was not simply a random series of events, but a purposeful journey guided by forces that often lie beyond the grasp of the ego's limited perception. What we often perceive as fate or destiny, he posited, is frequently the outward manifestation of hidden psychological patterns that are relentlessly seeking expression in the external world. This essay delves into Jung's profound insights, exploring how his concepts of synchronicity, the self, and individuation illuminate the often painful experience of denied love, transforming it from a seemingly random misfortune into a revelation that carries profound meaning and unlocks the potential for personal growth. We will examine the ways in which the external world acts as a mirror, reflecting the innermost movements of the soul, and how the repeated blocking of a desired love is not merely an accident, but a significant phenomenon that demands careful examination. The dance of inner and outer worlds. The question of why the universe sometimes seems to deny us the love we yearn for takes on an entirely new dimension when viewed through the lens of Jungian psychology. If, as Jung believed, the world around us is not a chaotic jumble of disconnected events, but a profoundly interconnected system that resonates with our inner reality, then a love that is repeatedly thwarted or blocked cannot be dismissed as mere misfortune. It becomes a significant phenomenon, a symbolic event laden with meaning, and a potential catalyst for a larger, transformative process within the individual. There are those moments in life, those instances of profound connection, when we feel an undeniable pull towards another person. Everything within us seems to resonate with their presence, a deep recognition that transcends mere attraction. And yet, despite the intensity of this connection, something consistently prevents its fulfillment. Barriers arise seemingly out of nowhere, timing collapses in on itself, and distances, both physical and emotional, widen. It is as if an invisible force is actively pushing this love away, defying the desires of the heart and the logic of the mind. In our lives, we might recall the story of Sarah and David. Their eyes first met across a crowded cafe, a moment of shared recognition that felt electric. Over weeks, their conversations deepened, revealing a shared passion for art, a similar quirky sense of humor, and an undeniable emotional vulnerability. They began making plans for the future, talking about weekend trips and potential collaborations. But then, as quickly as it began, their connection began to unravel. Sarah received an unexpected job offer in another city, a dream opportunity she couldn't refuse. David, struggling with his own career, felt a surge of insecurity and began to withdraw emotionally. Their communication dwindled, and the once vibrant spark faded into a muted ember. They tried to salvage the relationship, but the distance, both physical and emotional, proved insurmountable. What seemed like a destined love story became another chapter in the book of unfulfilled potential. Jung, unlike many of his contemporaries, did not subscribe to the notion of meaningless coincidences. He believed that events in the external world often serve as reflections of unconscious processes unfolding within us. When a love is repeatedly denied, when doors close with uncanny precision, it is not simply an accident, a random occurrence to be chalked up to bad luck. It is a pattern, and patterns, according to Jung, are never without significance. A denied love, therefore, is not merely about another person. It is an encounter with the deeper forces that are shaping our individual journey. The real question is not, why is this happening to me? But rather, what is this experience revealing about myself and my path? This is where the concept of synchronicity becomes essential to understanding the significance of denied love. Jung defined synchronicity as the alignment of external events with internal realities in ways that are too precise and meaningful to be dismissed as mere chance. These are the moments when the universe seems to be speaking directly to us, offering clues and insights into our unconscious processes. When a love is lost, yet the signs and symbols around us seem to whisper its meaning, we must ask ourselves, what if this is not simply an obstacle? What if it is a message, a call to deeper understanding? Imagine a person named Michael who fell deeply in love with a woman named Emily. Their connection was immediate and intense, a whirlwind of shared laughter, late-night conversations, and a profound sense of belonging. They envisioned a future together, a life filled with shared adventures and unwavering support. However, their relationship was plagued by external obstacles. Emily's family disapproved of Michael, and she faced constant pressure to end the relationship. They both struggled with financial difficulties, and the stress began to take a toll on their emotional well-being. Despite their best efforts, their love was repeatedly tested, and ultimately, they were forced to separate. But even after their separation, Michael couldn't shake the feeling that their story wasn't over. He would encounter Emily's name in unexpected places, hear songs that reminded him of their shared moments, and even have dreams that featured her prominently. These synchronicities felt too meaningful to ignore, as if the universe was hinting at something unresolved between them. When a love has been lost, but continues to echo through life in unexpected ways, the question is no longer whether the connection still exists, but rather in what form it persists and what purpose it serves. Sometimes, these synchronicities arrive subtly, almost imperceptibly. It might be a name overheard in an unrelated conversation, a book that appears seemingly by chance just when its message is most needed, or a place once shared with a loved one suddenly becoming unavoidable. These occurrences do not force themselves upon our awareness, yet they refuse to be ignored. They create a nagging feeling, an intuition that reality itself is responding to our internal state, shaping events in ways that are both personal and mysterious. In other instances, the signals are far more overt, more difficult to dismiss as coincidence. A vivid dream might bring back a forgotten detail of a past relationship. A sequence of repeated numbers might appear only when thoughts drift towards the past, or a letter written but never sent might resurface years later, as if the universe had kept it in waiting. These experiences defy logical explanation, yet they carry an uncanny precision that suggests something deeper is at work. They serve as powerful reminders of the unresolved emotions and patterns that continue to shape our present reality. Consider the story of Maria, whose whirlwind romance with a charismatic musician ended abruptly when he moved to another country to pursue his career. Maria was heartbroken, but she tried to move on with her life, focusing on her work and her friendships. However, years later, she found herself constantly drawn to musical events, encountering musicians who reminded her of her former lover, and even having dreams that featured his music prominently. One day, she stumbled upon an old journal entry where she had written about her desire to learn to play the guitar, a dream she had abandoned when her relationship ended. This synchronicity sparked a realization. Her lost love had inadvertently ignited a passion within her that she had never fully explored. She enrolled in guitar lessons, and music became a source of joy and healing in her life. The denied love, in this case, served as a catalyst for personal growth and self-discovery. Jung understood that the unconscious communicates primarily through symbols, not through the explicit language of words. When something appears repeatedly in our lives, it is rarely random. It is a message seeking acknowledgement, a signal from the depths of our psyche that demands our attention. A love that was denied but refuses to fade completely from our awareness may not necessarily be asking to be rekindled. Instead, It may be revealing something unfinished within us, something unseen that must be integrated and understood before that chapter of our lives can truly close. The key is to discern the symbolic meaning of these synchronicities, to understand what they're trying to tell us about ourselves and our journey. There are those who choose to ignore these signs, dismissing them as mere tricks of the mind or fleeting coincidences. Others, however, feel trapped by them, mistaking their persistent presence as proof that the lost love must be rekindled, that the relationship deserves another chance. But synchronicity is neither a promise nor a command. It does not dictate action or prescribe a particular course of behavior. Instead, it demands awareness, a willingness to listen to the whispers of the unconscious and to explore the deeper meanings that lie hidden beneath the surface of our conscious awareness. The unconscious is always speaking, but few truly listen, and even fewer understand that these signs are rarely about the other person. They are about what remains unresolved within ourselves, the aspects of our psyche that are seeking integration and wholeness. To dismiss synchronicity is to miss a valuable opportunity for self-discovery and personal growth. The psyche, according to Jung, does not waste energy sending the same signals repeatedly without a purpose. If certain images, memories, or events persistently return to our awareness, they're not simply pulling us back towards the past. They're pushing us forward towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. The meaning of these synchronicities is rarely immediate or obvious, but it is never without significance. Ignoring these patterns does not erase them. In fact, the more they are resisted, the more insistently they tend to appear, demanding our attention and disrupting our carefully constructed sense of order. There are moments in life when the universe seems to insist on making itself known, speaking through events and experiences rather than through explicit explanations. The question is not whether these signs matter. It is whether we are willing to recognize their presence, to acknowledge the subtle yet profound ways in which reality is shaping itself around us. The presence of synchronicity in moments of loss and denial suggests that something far deeper is at work than mere chance or circumstance. A love that vanishes, yet continues to echo through life in unexpected ways, is not simply a story of separation or unfulfilled longing. It is a confrontation with the unseen forces that are shaping our personal growth, a call to delve into the mysteries of the unconscious and to discover the hidden potential that lies dormant within us. If these patterns are not random, then what is guiding them? What is the source of this underlying order and purpose? Jung believed that beyond the fleeting desires of the ego, beyond the conscious mind's limited perception, there is something more, the self. The self, according to Jung, is the core of the psyche, the organizing principle that is moving events in a direction that the conscious mind may not yet comprehend. It is the source of our deepest wisdom and the guiding force behind our individuation, our journey towards wholeness and self-realization. Not everything that the heart desires is necessarily meant to be. The self does not operate according to our conscious longings or our ego's need for comfort and fulfillment. Instead, it is concerned with a greater path, a journey that often requires detours, obstacles, and even heartbreak. The experience of love denied, therefore, is not merely about the loss of another person. It is about the potential misalignment between what we consciously want and what we unconsciously need for our own growth and development. Consider the example of James, who had always dreamed of marrying his childhood sweetheart, a woman named Olivia. They shared a deep history, a comfortable familiarity, and a seemingly unbreakable bond. However, as they grew older, James began to feel a sense of restlessness, a yearning for something more that he couldn't quite articulate. He felt stifled by the predictability of their relationship, and he longed to explore his own individuality. Despite his deep affection for Olivia, he knew that marrying her would mean sacrificing his own personal growth. Eventually, they made the difficult decision to separate, a decision that caused immense pain for both of them. But as James embarked on his own journey of self-discovery, he realized that their separation had been necessary for him to fully embrace his own potential. He pursued his passions, explored new interests, and developed a stronger sense of self-reliance. He came to understand that their love, while real and meaningful, had served its purpose in his life, guiding him towards a deeper understanding of himself and his own path. Some loves arrive like revelations, reshaping everything they touch. They awaken something buried deep within us, stir emotions that were once dormant, and illuminate aspects of ourselves that we never knew existed. And then, without warning, they dissolve, leaving us feeling lost, confused, and as if something essential has been taken from us before it could fully unfold. This loss often feels unjust, a cruel twist of fate that defies logic and reason. But the self, according to Jung, does not take without purpose. When a love is denied despite its depth and intensity, it is often because it would ultimately lead us away from what is most necessary for our individuation, for our journey towards wholeness. There is a part of the psyche that sees beyond temporary pain and immediate gratification, a part that is concerned with our long-term growth and well-being. The self does not reject love arbitrarily or out of malice. Instead, it redirects us, guiding us towards a path that aligns with our deepest potential. What feels like a loss, therefore, may actually be an act of protection, a safeguard against a relationship that, despite its initial appeal, would ultimately pull us away from our true course. A love that seems to fit perfectly on the surface may, in ways unseen and unfelt, be hindering our growth, preventing us from fully embracing our individuality and fulfilling our unique potential. The conscious mind may grasp for understanding, seeking logical explanations for the denial of love, but the self speaks in a different language, not one of explanations or justifications, but one of movement and guidance, shaping circumstances in ways that only later become clear. Resistance to this guidance is natural. The ego, clinging to its desires and its need for control, insists that what we want must be right, that the path we have chosen is the one that will lead us to happiness and fulfillment. It fights against the barriers that arise, convinced that they must be overcome, that the obstacles can be surmounted with enough effort and determination. But when the same doors close repeatedly, when the same relationship cannot hold itself together despite every effort and intention, there's a deeper will at play, a force that transcends our conscious desires and our ego's limited perspective. The self does not need permission to intervene. It moves in alignment with something greater, with the underlying order of the universe, even when that movement feels like loss, like a denial of our deepest desires. A love that is repeatedly denied is not simply an external event, an unfortunate circumstance to be lamented. It is a reflection of the internal architecture of our psyche, the manifestation of the tension between our conscious longings and the deeper, often unconscious, forces that are driving our evolution. When the self says no to a particular relationship or a particular path, it is not an act of cruelty or punishment. It is an act of direction, a course correction that is designed to push us towards something that our conscious mind does not yet understand. The question, therefore, is not whether the self is speaking to us through these experiences of denial and loss. The question is whether we are willing to listen, to open ourselves to the possibility that there's a deeper wisdom at work, guiding us towards a path that aligns with our true potential. The absence of love often arrives quietly, without fanfare or warning, and yet it shifts everything it touches, leaving no room for preparation, no time for the mind to construct its defenses. One day, the love is present, filling the spaces of our ordinary lives with warmth, connection, and a sense of belonging. The next day, it vanishes, leaving behind a quiet, persistent emptiness, a void that seems to swallow everything in its path. Nothing seems changed externally. The world continues to spin, the sun rises and sets, and the routines of daily life continue as before. Yet within us, everything feels different, unfamiliar, incomplete. We are left grappling with a sense of disorientation, struggling to make sense of a world that has suddenly lost its familiar shape and texture. Jung referred to the process of moving towards this completeness, of integrating the shadow aspects of our personality and realizing our full potential as individuation. Individuation, according to Jung, is not a destination to be reached, but a lifelong journey of self-discovery and transformation. It is the process of becoming who we are truly meant to be, of aligning our conscious and unconscious selves and embracing our unique place in the world. And this journey, paradoxically, often begins not when everything feels safe, comfortable, and perfectly aligned, but precisely at the point of absence, when we are forced to confront what remains once love has been stripped away. The self, in its quiet wisdom, allows this absence to occur, not as a punishment for past transgressions or a cruel denial of our desires, but as an invitation to grow beyond the comfort of the familiar, to explore the uncharted territories of our inner landscape, and to discover the hidden potential that lies dormant within us. Initially, the absence feels impossible to accept. It creates a tension within us, an urgent need to understand, to resolve, to regain what has disappeared. Memories resurface uninvited, each one amplifying the feeling of loss, reminding us of what once was and what can no longer be. Places that once brought joy and connection now become reminders of something missing, something incomplete. Friends offer comfort and support, but their words cannot reach the deeper parts of us that remain unanswered, unresolved. Life moves on externally, but internally, something refuses to progress, as if we were stuck in a perpetual loop of longing and regret. Individuation, however, thrives precisely in these spaces of internal pause, in these moments of stillness and reflection. Where there was once connection and intimacy, now there is solitude and silence. And in that solitude, aspects of the self that were hidden or suppressed by the relationship begin to emerge, clamoring for attention. Fears that were once softened by love suddenly seem sharper, more intense, demanding to be acknowledged and addressed. Patterns of behavior that were once excused or overlooked by companionship now reveal themselves fully, demanding recognition and transformation. The person we became within that love begins to shed like an old skin, making way for something raw, uncertain, yet authentically alive. It would be easier, perhaps, to fill the silence immediately, to move quickly towards another love, another distraction, another way to soften the discomfort and avoid the pain of absence. But individuation does not unfold in distraction. It unfolds through confronting the emptiness, through sitting with the discomfort, through allowing ourselves to feel the full weight of our loss. It asks for patience, a willingness to resist the urge to escape or numb the pain. And it demands honesty, a willingness to confront the truths about ourselves and our relationships that we may have been avoiding for years. Each moment spent alone with the absence reveals another part of the self that had been overlooked, neglected, or forgotten. Slowly, what begins as a feeling of emptiness transforms into something else, something more profound and meaningful. It becomes clear that what felt like loss was, in fact, an invitation to reconnect with ourselves in ways that were impossible within the comfort of love. It is an opportunity to rediscover our passions, to cultivate our individuality, and to forge a deeper relationship with ourselves. Individuation is not the process of erasing love from memory or denying its significance. It is the process of understanding who we are beyond it, of recognizing that our worth and our identity are not contingent on the presence or absence of another person. Love denied, therefore, is not merely something taken away. It is also a chance to reclaim a depth of self-knowledge and self-acceptance that love alone could never fully offer. The path through absence requires a willingness to remain open, even when the instinct is to close, to protect ourselves from further pain and vulnerability. The loss of love is not easily accepted because it seems to carry with it an accusation, a subtle suggestion that something within us was not enough, that we were somehow unworthy of love or incapable of maintaining a relationship. But individuation shifts this perspective, reframing absence not as a reflection of inadequacy, but as a spotlight highlighting aspects of the self that are calling for growth, attention, and recognition. It draws attention away from external validation, from the need to be loved and accepted by others, and towards internal truth, towards a deeper understanding of our own values, our own needs, and our own unique potential. This does not erase the ache of loss, nor does it promise immediate clarity or resolution. Instead, it offers meaning, a sense that even in the midst of pain and uncertainty, there is a purpose at work, a direction towards wholeness and self-realization. It reshapes the way love itself is understood, no longer as a prize to be won or lost, but as a reflection of the self, a mirror that reveals both our strengths and our vulnerabilities. In this reshaping, absence becomes a teacher, a guide that leads us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. The solitude that was once resisted, the emptiness that was once feared, slowly becomes something necessary, valuable, even sacred. It is in these quiet moments of self-reflection that we discover our inner strength, our resilience, and our capacity for self-love. What begins as emptiness, therefore, ultimately ends as insight, as a profound realization of our own inherent worth and our ability to create a meaningful and fulfilling life, independent of the presence or absence of romantic love. Individuation, in its silent way, transforms loss into understanding, absence into presence, not the presence of another, but the presence of oneself, whole and complete, perhaps for the first time. Perhaps for the first time, we can truly say that we are at home within ourselves, comfortable in our own skin, and confident in our ability to navigate the challenges and opportunities that life presents. Perhaps for the first time, we can truly love ourselves, not as a means to attracting love from others, but as an end in itself, as a recognition of our own inherent worth and our unique contribution to the world. In the emptiness that follows lost love, something quietly begins to shift. What first felt like a painful void, a gaping hole in our lives, slowly reveals itself as a place of hidden potential, a fertile ground for growth and transformation. Jung saw this hidden potential clearly, describing it through the powerful image of alchemy, the ancient art of transformation. Alchemy, in its essence, is the process of taking something base and impure and transforming it into something precious and refined. It is the art of turning lead into gold, of transmuting the ordinary into the extraordinary. For Jung, love is not merely an emotional connection or a fleeting romantic infatuation. It is a powerful force capable of profound inner change, a catalyst that can ignite the fire of transformation within us. When love vanishes from our lives, the soul finds itself in the heat of an invisible fire, a crucible that is burning away what no longer serves its deeper purpose. This fire can be painful and uncomfortable, but is also essential for our growth and evolution. It is the process of breaking down old patterns, releasing limiting beliefs, and shedding the false identities that we have constructed over the years. Alchemy spoke of transformation through fire, a process of breaking down impurities to uncover something more precious. Similarly, the loss of love can feel like a fire ignited within us, uncomfortable, consuming, and impossible to ignore. What it burns away is not simply memories or attachments, but layers of identity that once felt secure, beliefs about ourselves and the world that we held dear. Each moment spent longing for what was lost, each pang of grief, each wave of sadness reveals another layer ready to be surrendered, another aspect of ourselves that is ready to be transformed. At first, the flames feel harsh, almost unbearable. Love that once brought comfort and security now delivers relentless discomfort, forcing us to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. The desire to escape this internal burning, to find some way to extinguish the flames, grows intense. Distraction becomes tempting, a way to numb the pain and avoid the difficult work of self-reflection. Relationships that once seemed unthinkable become opportunities for escape, a way to fill the void and distract ourselves from the emptiness within. Yet, like the alchemist's fire, these flames resist easy extinguishing. They persist precisely because they serve a deeper purpose, demanding acknowledgement instead of escape, urging us to turn inward and confront the pain that lies at the heart of our loss. What appears to be destruction, therefore, slowly reveals itself as purification, a cleansing of the soul that is necessary for our growth and transformation. Through loss, the soul confronts illusions it once held tightly, beliefs about what love should look like, who one should become within relationships, and what happiness requires. These illusions crumble quietly, exposing truths the heart might have otherwise ignored, truths about our own needs, our own desires, and our own potential. The emotional fire reveals hidden motives and buried wounds, bringing them to the surface not for punishment, but for healing. It forces us to confront the aspects of ourselves that we have been avoiding, the shadows that have been lurking in the darkness of our unconscious. The process is delicate, slow, and often uncomfortable. Alchemists knew that transformation required patience, attention, and courage. Likewise, navigating love's absence demands the courage to remain present with discomfort rather than flee from it, to resist the urge to numb the pain and instead embrace the opportunity for growth. Pain becomes the instrument of awareness, exposing layers of the self that could not emerge in comfort, revealing the areas where we need to heal, to forgive, and to grow. The fire's intensity clarifies priorities, showing what genuinely matters and what was merely superficial, stripping away the distractions and the illusions that have been clouding our vision. Gradually, clarity begins to emerge from the flames. The soul recognizes aspects of itself once hidden beneath dependency and desire, qualities like strength, resilience, and authenticity. These qualities appear unexpectedly, born directly from the ashes of loss, forged in the crucible of suffering. The fire does not consume endlessly. It transforms, refining and purifying the soul, leaving behind something stronger, more resilient, and more authentic. Eventually, the heart learns to embrace solitude without feeling diminished by it, to find joy and meaning in its own company, and to cultivate a deeper relationship with itself. Alchemy does not promise immediate relief or simple comfort. Instead, it teaches the value of staying present through uncertainty, of finding meaning within discomfort, and of trusting the process of transformation, even when it feels painful and overwhelming. The soul's transformation through loss becomes less about external love and more about discovering a deeper inner truth, a truth about our own inherent worth and our own unique potential. Love, when lost, reveals itself as both a mirror and a catalyst, a force that reflects hidden parts of the psyche while simultaneously igniting the strength needed to face them directly. It is a painful but powerful process of self-discovery, a journey into the depths of our own being that ultimately leads to a greater understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. In this hidden alchemy, love's absence ceases to be merely loss. It becomes an invitation into a deeper relationship, not with another person, but with the parts of oneself that have waited patiently to be discovered, to be embraced, and to be integrated into our wholeness. The fire of transformation does not pass without leaving its mark. Love's absence reshapes everything, turning familiar emotions into something unrecognizable. What was once warmth becomes emptiness. What once offered certainty now feels distant and untouchable. We are left grappling with a sense of disorientation, struggling to make sense of a world that has suddenly lost its familiar shape and texture. But Jung understood that suffering was not simply pain to be endured. It was a force that could break illusions and open doors to something greater, a catalyst for transformation that could lead us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. Suffering, when faced without resistance, becomes a threshold for transcendence, a gateway to a higher level of consciousness and a more profound sense of meaning. It is in these moments of profound pain that we have the opportunity to confront our deepest fears, to release our limiting beliefs, and to discover the strength and resilience that lies dormant within us. Some wounds refuse to fade quickly. The world moves on, yet something inside remains stuck in the moment love was lost, replaying the events over and over again in our minds, searching for answers that seem to elude us. The mind searches for meaning, trying to piece together a story that makes sense, a narrative that can explain the pain and the confusion. But suffering resists explanation. It does not offer answers immediately. It lingers, demanding attention, insisting on being felt before it can transform into something else, before it can reveal its deeper purpose. Memories carry weight, dragging the past into the present in ways that feel impossible to control. A familiar scent, a passing phrase, the shape of a shadow at the wrong time of day, each one is enough to reopen what was thought to be healing, to reawaken the pain and the longing that we have been trying so hard to suppress. But suffering is not the enemy. It has not arrived to punish or destroy. It arrives to reveal what still remains unresolved, to bring to the surface the wounds that have not yet healed, the fears that have not yet been confronted, and the beliefs that are still holding us back. There comes a moment when suffering no longer feels like something happening to the individual, but something happening within them, a shift in perspective that allows us to see our pain as an opportunity for growth and transformation. The pain shifts. It is no longer about another person, nor about what was lost. It becomes about the self, about the wounds that existed long before love arrived, about the fears that love once covered but never healed. It is a realization that our suffering is not simply a reaction to external events, but a manifestation of our own internal state, a reflection of the unresolved issues that are lurking in the depths of our unconscious. Suffering forces confrontation with what was always there, waiting in the quiet spaces beneath distraction, the aspects of ourselves that we have been avoiding for years. It compels us to turn inward, to face our demons, and to embrace the pain that we have been trying so hard to escape. Jung saw suffering as a natural part of transformation, not an obstacle to be avoided. He believed that it was through our suffering that we could break free from our illusions, shed our false identities, and discover our true selves. Suffering strips away false narratives, leaving only what is real, exposing the core of our being and revealing our inherent strength and resilience. It does not erase love, nor does it demand forgetting. Instead, it asks for something deeper, a willingness to see what has been hidden beneath longing, to understand the patterns that have been shaping our lives, and to embrace the possibility of a more authentic and fulfilling future. The mind resists, seeking escape, trying to find some way to alleviate the pain and avoid the difficult work of self-reflection. But suffering, when truly faced, leads not to destruction, but to transcendence, a transformation of our consciousness that allows us to see ourselves and the world in a new light. There's a threshold between loss and understanding, a space where suffering stops being an enemy and becomes something else, something more profound and meaningful. It no longer holds power over the heart. It no longer defines the self. Instead, it reveals what remains once everything unnecessary has fallen away, the essence of our being that persists even in the face of profound loss and pain. Suffering does not vanish the moment its purpose is understood. It lingers, reshaping thoughts, pulling the heart toward places it had once ignored, challenging us to confront the aspects of ourselves that we have been avoiding for years. What once seemed unfair begins to reveal its patterns, the underlying forces that have been shaping our experiences and guiding us towards our destiny. And with those patterns comes a realization, a profound understanding that there is a force moving beneath life, shaping experiences in ways the conscious mind cannot predict. This is the force of the self, the organizing principle of our psyche that is guiding us towards wholeness and self-realization. Jung saw this force as something beyond personal will, a cosmic intelligence that is working in harmony with the universe to bring about our highest potential. The soul has its own direction, and when it conflicts with the desires of the world, tension arises, creating the challenges and opportunities that shape our lives. There are moments when everything appears aligned for love, when the stars seem to be conspiring to bring two people together. Yet, circumstances unravel without explanation, defying logic and reason. Two lives cross. Something undeniable sparks between them, a connection that feels destined and inevitable. But instead of merging, they are pulled apart, separated by forces beyond their control. The connection is real, the feelings are genuine, but the relationship does not unfold as expected, leaving both parties feeling confused, heartbroken, and as if they have been robbed of something precious. The mind fights against this outcome, believing that if something is deeply felt, it must be pursued, that the obstacles can be overcome with enough effort and determination. But the soul does not move according to urgency or desire. It follows a rhythm beyond what the ego can comprehend, a pattern that is often invisible to the conscious mind. A denied love is often mistaken for misfortune, a cruel twist of fate that has robbed us of our happiness. But it may be an act of precision, a course correction that is guiding us towards a path that is more aligned with our true purpose. Some relationships do not reach completion because they are not meant to be. They are not failures, but markers along the way, shaping the path without becoming the destination. They serve a purpose in our lives, teaching us valuable lessons about ourselves, about love, and about the world, but they're not meant to last forever. The loss is not meaningless. It redirects forces, reflection, and leaves behind a question that cannot be answered with logic alone, a mystery that invites us to delve deeper into the depths of our own being. Resistance arises when love is blocked, when we are confronted with obstacles that seem insurmountable. The more something is denied, the more the heart insists that it must be fought for, that the love is worth pursuing no matter the cost. But the soul is not concerned with conquest. It does not measure love by possession. It is guided by something deeper, something that does not always align with the immediate desires of the world, a wisdom that transcends our conscious understanding. The mind sees loss, the soul sees movement, a redirection of energy that is ultimately serving our highest good. What the world takes away is often what the soul does not need to keep, the attachments and the beliefs that are holding us back from fully embracing our potential. A love that fades despite every effort is not necessarily lost. It may have already fulfilled its purpose, teaching us valuable lessons and preparing us for the next stage of our journey. The tension between what is wanted and what unfolds is not a mistake, but the evidence of something greater at work, a force that does not explain itself but asks to be trusted, a wisdom that guides us even when we cannot see the path ahead. The universe does not deny love without reason. What first appears as loss, rejection, or cruel misalignment often carries a meaning that only time reveals, a hidden purpose that is ultimately serving our highest good. Jung understood that life is not random. It moves in ways that align with deeper patterns, shaping each experience with a precision that the conscious mind struggles to perceive. He believed that there was an underlying order to the universe, a cosmic intelligence that was guiding us towards wholeness and self-realization. When a love is repeatedly blocked, when no effort can hold it together, the answer is already given. It is not meant to remain. The universe is sending a clear message, telling us that this relationship is not aligned with our true path. Some separations feel unnatural, as if something essential has been taken before it could fully unfold, leaving us with a sense of incompleteness and unfulfilled longing. The heart refuses to accept it, convinced that love, when real, must persist, that the connection is too strong to be broken. But what if the universe's refusal is not a punishment, but a correction, a gentle nudge guiding us back towards our true path? What if it is not an ending, but a redirection towards something unseen, something that is more aligned with our highest potential? The mind resists, searching for alternative explanations, trying to find some way to salvage the relationship and avoid the pain of separation. Yet, the self moves with clarity, unwavering in its guidance, knowing what is best for our long-term growth and well-being. It does not take what is necessary. It only removes what no longer serves the path forward, freeing us from the attachments and the beliefs that are holding us back from fully embracing our potential. There is a moment when the struggle dissolves, not because the longing disappears entirely, but because it no longer defines the self, because we have come to accept the loss and understand its deeper purpose. The person left behind, the love that never fully formed, the moments that felt like destiny but never reached completion, they no longer hold the same weight. They are no longer a source of pain and regret, but a reminder of the lessons we have learned and the growth we have experienced. What once felt like absence begins to take shape as something else, something unexpected, something that is ultimately more fulfilling and meaningful than what was lost. The loss does not vanish, but its purpose starts to unfold, revealing the hidden potential that lies dormant within us. A love denied is never just about the other person. It is an encounter with something greater, the movement of the psyche, the precision of the unconscious, the quiet guidance of something beyond the personal will. It is an invitation to delve deeper into the mysteries of our own being, to discover the hidden potential that lies dormant within us, and to embrace the path that is truly meant for us. Love, when truly meant to remain, does not need to be forced. It aligns naturally, flowing effortlessly and creating a sense of harmony and connection. And when it does not align, when it is met with resistance and obstacles, it teaches us valuable lessons about ourselves and about the world, guiding us towards a path that is more aligned with our true purpose. The universe does not waste energy removing what is essential. It does not take without purpose. If a love is denied, it is because it belongs to the past, not to the future. It has served its purpose, teaching us the lessons we needed to learn and preparing us for the next stage of our journey. The lesson is not in reclaiming what was lost, but in understanding what was revealed in its departure, in recognizing the deeper purpose that was served by the experience. Not all loves are meant to stay. Some exist only to awaken what has long been waiting to be seen, to ignite the fire within us, and to set us on a path towards our true selves. These loves may be brief and fleeting, but their impact can be profound, shaping the course of our lives in ways we cannot even imagine. They're the sparks that ignite our potential, the catalysts that drive us towards growth and transformation. Conclusion: embracing the journey of self-discovery. The journey through denied love, illuminated by the insights of Carl Jung, is not a path of simple sorrow or unfulfilled longing. It is a challenging but ultimately rewarding journey of self-discovery, a process of confronting our deepest fears and insecurities, of shedding our false identities, and of embracing our true potential. By understanding the concepts of synchronicity, the self, and individuation, we can transform the experience of denied love from a seemingly random misfortune into a profound revelation that carries meaning and unlocks the potential for personal growth. We can learn to see the external world as a mirror, reflecting the innermost movements of our soul, and to recognize that the repeated blocking of a desired love is not merely an accident, but a significant phenomenon that demands careful examination. We can learn to listen to the whispers of our unconscious, to trust the guidance of the self, and to embrace the path that is truly meant for us, even when it leads us through pain and uncertainty. The key takeaways from this exploration of Jungian psychology and the experience of denied love can be summarized as follows. The psyche as a dynamic system. Jung viewed the psyche as a living, complex entity connected to the spiritual dimension, not just a collection of behaviors. Denied love should be seen as a process within this larger framework. The meaning of fate. What we call fate is often the unfolding of hidden psychological patterns seeking expression. Denied love is not random, but reveals a pattern of the inner psyche. The mirror of the external world. The external world mirrors our internal reality. Denied love, therefore, reflects something within us needing attention and resolution. The significance of patterns. Patterns are never meaningless. A love denied is an encounter with deeper forces shaping our journey. Synchronicity as a guide. Synchronicity, the alignment of external events with internal realities, offers insights into our unconscious processes. A lost love accompanied by synchronicities demands awareness and interpretation. Love and the deeper self. Denied love isn't just about another person. It's about what's unresolved within. The message of the unconscious. The unconscious communicates through symbols and patterns. Denied love is a message seeking acknowledgement, not necessarily a return of the relationship. Self over ego. Not everything the heart desires is meant to be. The self guides us towards wholeness, sometimes through detours and heartbreak. Growth through absence. The absence of love invites us to confront what remains and grow beyond the familiar. It's an invitation to reconnect with ourselves. Alchemy and transformation. Loss is akin to an alchemical fire, burning away what no longer serves us. It's a process of purification leading to something more precious. Suffering as a threshold. Suffering, when faced, becomes a threshold for transcendence. It reveals what is unresolved and allows for deeper healing. The soul's direction. The soul has its own direction. A denied love may be a redirection towards something unseen but necessary for growth. Purposeful denial. The universe doesn't deny love without reason. What appears as loss often carries a meaning that time will reveal. The past and future. A love denied belongs to the past, not the future. The lesson is in understanding what was revealed, not reclaiming what was lost. Awakening potential. Some loves exist only to awaken what has long been waiting to be seen. They are catalysts for personal growth. If you're grappling with the pain of denied love, remember that you are not alone. Many have walked this path before you, and many have emerged stronger and more resilient as a result. Embrace the journey of self-discovery. Listen to the whispers of your unconscious, and trust that the universe is guiding you towards a path that is more aligned with your true potential. The insights of Carl Jung offer a powerful framework for understanding the deeper meaning of denied love and for transforming this experience into an opportunity for profound personal growth and self-realization. And if this message resonated with you, if something within you shifted, subscribe and stay connected. Your support keeps this space alive. And if you found real value here, consider leaving a super thanks. It truly makes a difference. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video.